Solar sounds great until you spend 3 shady days at a campsite. I went from 100% to 49% battery, and I had to learn real quick what eats the power and what doesn't. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back to Miles to Myself. I'm Michelle, and I want to tell you what I learned about my solar this week. So as I said in the beginning, I stayed at Richardson Park, which is in Oregon, Junction City, Oregon, I believe, and I had full power there. I left there and I went to another state campground, but they only had tent sites available, and I thought, well, let's really test the system out. Let me see what happens. And I knew I could go about 3 days. It looked like I was getting about 30% a day that I was using if I was not replenishing. So I thought 3 days I could do this. But the site was very shady, which would have been nice if I had a way to generate solar while I was there, but I did not. So that was okay. I still made it through. When I left there, I was at 49% because I went out on drives and I was able to generate a little bit of solar power. So in van life, power is everything. And this week I really tested my setup. So just to recap, if you're new to this channel, I have what a lot of people have. I have 3 200-watt solar panels on my roof. I decided to go with an Epoch 460 amp hour battery. And sometimes I wish I had 2, but it is a giant battery and they are very expensive. So one thing that I looked back at some older videos that I did, I had wished that I had set up my alternator charging. So I don't have alternator charging. I do have shore power when it's available. I can plug in, and solar power. And I do have a Jackery that I use for charging small appliances like my watch, my phone, and my laptop. I charge those daily, and it does take a long time to run out of battery for that. To recharge that, I have 3 options. I can either set up a solar panel that came with my Jackery and babysit it all day because it does take all day to charge, or I can plug it into my 12 volt in my van when I'm driving, which takes a long time, or I can wait until I get to a campground where I have power and it just takes an hour. So I think most of you would be like me. You want to get out and explore. You don't want to sit with your Jackery in a sunny spot all day waiting for it to charge. No, I want to be out seeing what sights there is to see. So a couple of things I learned that I should have been aware of before I learned it. I've never really been concerned about power before, is my Starlink really eats a lot of power, especially when I'm driving. It was just a couple of weeks ago that this was pointed out to me in another YouTuber's video, Robin from Creativity RV. She talked about having a switch to turn her Starlink on and off. I don't have a switch. I didn't really build a lot of electronics or fancy things into this van. So what I found is I just unplug it, and it does take a few extra minutes to boot it back up once you plug it back in, but that has really saved me. Unplugging it while I'm driving so it's not constantly searching for a signal, and unplugging it when I go to bed because I'm not using it then. So that leaves the only thing that really is powered. You can see my lights up here, but I'm leaving today and I'm heading towards a paid site with electric. So I don't care if I use all my electric today. So the only thing I am using to power is my Dometic fridge, and has fridge and freezer in there. So I do have a lot of food in there, and that is pretty much non-negotiable. I can't just turn it off. And I think I've built it in enough now where I remember when I first started camping, I used my Jackery to power my fridge freezer. So that is a possibility. I don't know if I can get to it now that I've built it in the way that I have and use that Jackery. But I'd rather not get to that point. Just find a campsite, Michelle. Just say it. It's silly, right? So as I said, the next 2 nights are going to be at campgrounds so I can be a power hog. But this trip right now has really taught me how to conserve on my power usage when I need to. I probably still will unplug my Starlink when I'm driving, and I still will unplug my Starlink when I'm going to bed, because I don't need to be using that power when I don't need to. Now I am heading up to Washington. It's starting the rainy time and a lot of campsites are closed, but hopefully I can find some RV sites here and there that I can stop at for a night or two, charge, and then still go on with my, off-grid camping if it's not too cold. I do have a heater in my van, but that's going to take a little bit of power. That does run on gas, so I have yet to try that out. So that'll be maybe something that I'll try out in the next few days. I'll let you know how that goes. One thing I have learned in van life is you need to be flexible. If you're planning van life, or you're just following along to see how crazy this gets with me every day that I post new adventures, it's really important to think about your setup and how you're going to power all of your adventures. For me, I really wish that I had the alternator charging. Maybe I can find someone to put that part in, because I've closed everything up now. I think it has to come from underneath and run a wire and go back up. I'm not sure, but I think that's what's going to have to happen. But so far what I have has been working for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications for more. I usually do a few shorts throughout the week to let people know where I'm going, what I'm doing. It's just fun traveling. This is my Northwest Freedom Loop after leaving our ranch. There is a playlist for this. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.